Hey, welcome everyone. How are we? What the hell? How's everyone doing? All right, so we'll do, yeah. Okay, welcome everyone on TikTok. If you guys could give me a thumbs up, let me know that you can hear me and see me all right. That would be greatly appreciated. Welcome everyone on Instagram. Same thing. And welcome everyone on YouTube at Ask Ivy the Medium and on my Facebook pages. Good to see you, Vanessa. All right. So we've got Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. Is that even the order of things? Is that accurate? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. I think that's the right order of things. That's the order we're going in anyways, unless someone corrects me. All right, so you guys, I did have to reschedule. Thank you. Okay, thank you. I did have to reschedule. This show was supposed to be last night, but one of my producers had a family emergency, literally in the last moments. And so we were able to reschedule for tonight, which is great. Okay, but I have had a full day and this was not supposed to be happening tonight. So bear with me. I'm getting a little loopy and like losing track of time a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to do these as quickly and efficiently, but thoroughly as possible. Just know, okay, again, I have certain days when I do live shows and when I have to double things up on other days, you know, I can be a little crazy. So we are going to get through all 12 zodiac signs for the month of August, covering love and relationships, money, career, and investments. And if you have a hidden obstacle that you need to know about, or if there's a general theme, we're also going to do a live Q&A at the end. So afterward, I will be taking your questions with your $10 donation, unlimited. So go ahead and start dropping your personal questions now. We're going to let everyone tune in on those personal questions. If you need to post and ghost, no worries. So this will get published in about 24 hours exclusively on YouTube at Ask Ivy the Medium with timestamps, right? So if you can't wait around, don't feel like you have to get your reading. And I know on this show, there was a lot of confusion last time. You guys were like, oh, do you need my birth time, my sun, moon, and rising? Do you need to know, you know, the guy I'm asking about, do you need his astrology info? I do not. So you could basically just ask any type of question. If you are referring to someone or something specific, though, do include the first name or the initials, okay, of that person or thing. I would love to hear in the comment section what you guys are. If you know your sun, moon, rising, or Venus, like I would love to hear what you guys are. So if everyone could please give this video a thumbs up, drop a comment letting me know what your zodiac signs are. This is going to be for all placements. And please do subscribe. If you are here on YouTube, hit that hype button. Okay. Why does it look like what? Kitty from TikTok said, what is the room? Why does it look like this? So this was a funeral home, an 1882 Victorian funeral home. Thank you for the hearts on TikTok. So this is a tour of the house that I've been giving and moving the production set around. We are stationed and camping here throughout August, though, because we have so many tours and haunted sleepovers running right now. We are on the Haunted History Trail of New York State, and we're on the Historical Trail of Chautauqua County. So this was originally called the Francis Rhodes House. Again, built in 1882. Their child died here in one of the rooms upstairs. He was 13. Mom died of a broken heart 9 months later. They're all buried together in the Pioneer Cemetery here in town. And when something like that happens, as beautiful as this house may be, it does set a tone. And so everyone who lived here afterward had some type of tragic death experience. This also became a funeral home for over 55 years, the most successful funeral home throughout the entire area. And this was the original couple. This was their dining room behind me. So wherever you see like a square up in the corners there in the ceiling behind me, those would have been chandeliers. They had a chandelier hanging from all 4 outside corners and one big one in the middle. And then their kitchen was through this way. Okay, so you can see videos on the house on the Haunted History Trail of New York State.com or up on my YouTube channel at Ask Ivy the Medium. I've got some on TikTok. I mean, I've got little videos everywhere. But if you want to come sleep here, okay, you can book a haunted sleepover experience with up to 25 of your friends. If you want to book your ghost hunting group, you can also come here for a ghost hunt. Or if you're not into the paranormal, but you love history and architecture, you can book a historical tour with your group. So check that out. All of that info is up on my website, ivyriverapsychicmedium.com. This is now called the Ivy League Psychic Academy after being abandoned for 16 plus years. I bought it up a couple years ago and I've opened the doors. Yeah, it's never a dull moment. We just had a ghost hunt here the other night. It's kind of crazy. This woman said, "Oh, we had to come back. We were here last year." I was like, "Okay." It's hard to remember everybody, but she said we had some wild experiences, and I didn't remember getting footage or videos of that because they never sent them to me. So she says, you know, we wanted to come back and explore this again. And they had very specific spots where hot spots where they had paranormal experiences that they spent a lot of time in this year. And one of the things she showed me was a picture, a photograph of a woman, a spirit who was talking to her in one of the rooms upstairs. And she was comparing, the spirit was comparing their shoes and their outfits, their legs. And it was like their bodies blended. So the living woman, you could see her leg, and then you could see this ghost leg right next to her. And the woman was talking about the buckle on her shoes and this and that. And I was like, it's unbelievable. I mean, like you could see through the ghost leg, but you could also see the outfit, the color of the outfit, the buckle on the shoe. I mean, it was almost concrete. So there's every single square inch of this place. I swear to God, there's like some kind of crazy story people have. So including myself. Anyways, never a dull moment. But yes, I went off on a tangent. This was their dining room originally. Yep. And there would have been coffins over here. And then the seating for the funeral service would have been here. Then there was another funeral right behind this wall. They would have sectioned it off and they would have been running 2 caskets at a time, 2 funerals at a time. Interesting. Okay, we are going to was I supposed to announce? Oh, sign up for the psychic mediumship course. I am teaching one psychic mediumship course in 2027. Registration is not open yet, but it is going to open soon. Hopefully by the end of this week is what I'm thinking. I'm pounding out some details. So if you want to get your foot in the door for the psychic mediumship course, once registration officially opens, spots will fill fast. It is limited seating. You can join us live online, or you could just get the video download if you want to do that. But you're going to want to email me now to get on the early bird wait list to get your foot in the door for that. So email me at Rev, as in like Reverend, R-E-V, okay, and then my name, R-E-V, Ivy Rivera. So Rev Ivy Rivera at Yahoo, and just put a little book emoji up in the title bar. I'll know exactly what it's for, and I'll get you added to that. I'm thinking the end of February, I would like to start. That's where I am right now. It's a 28-week course. It's also evergreen. So if you guys don't want to wait, or you don't want to join with a group, you just want to do like independent learning, you can still get certified and everything through the evergreen program. So that's also up on the website. Also, just a reminder, tomorrow is the Pet Psychic Show. So get your early questions in now for your living or deceased pet. I'll be doing all of that channeling back here tomorrow. And then what's Thursday? We have another show Thursday, I think, Diana, don't we? Oh, my Dear Ivy show. Yes. Okay, so the pet readings show is tomorrow. And then Thursday is my Dear Ivy free advice show. So get your early questions in now for that. It's a play off of Dear Abby, the famous columnist. So I'm just giving you my advice from a spiritual, universal, energetic standpoint on any topic, unlimited questions. These are not free psychic mediumship readings, just to clarify on that, okay? Tons of fun. All right, good stuff this week. Now, let's go ahead. Something is itching on my face. It's going to drive me absolutely bananas. Was there anything else I needed to talk about? I don't think so. Oh yes, booking for your summer party, your fall party. Okay, now is the time. If you're looking for like entertainment for your corporate event, your business event, your family party, etc., etc. Now's the time to get that booked. Okay, can also bring in a psychic fair, but my most popular thing is people like me to do like a 1-hour gallery reading for the audience, then private reads after. That's the go-to. But all of this is up on the website. Also, if you need to book a private reading with me, go to Ivy Rivera, psychicmedium.com. I do work internationally. It's a super simple self-booking system. Let's go ahead and get into it tonight. Welcome, everyone. I'm Ivy Rivera. I'm a Taino Arawak, a psychic medium. This is my all signs August horoscopes with Q&A afterward show. This is new. You guys voted this in. I think this is the third time I've done it. So I appreciate all of your support with this. And if it continues to get a lot of support, I will consider doing bi-weeklies and then see where that goes. So after, we are going to be doing your questions, and you can start dropping them now with your donation. You do not need to include all of your astrology, or if you're asking about someone else, like their birth information, it's okay. Just include their first name or the nickname of whoever it is that you're referring to. And Diana, my beautiful producer, is going to be pulling your questions and reaching out to you in the comments, especially with directions on TikTok and Instagram. We have to post and repost in the comment section because we're not able to pin anything, nor do they have a description box. Okay. If you want to do everything under one umbrella, switch over to YouTube at Ask Ivy the Medium. She said Ivy, Nicole said Ivy is so iconic. Thank you, Nicole. Doing everything I can, okay? All right, let's go ahead and get into this. Beginning with Aries. Aries for the month of August. For the month of August, what is coming up for Aries in love and relationships? Love and relationships for Aries. I swear to God, something on my mouth. This has to be connected to you guys because something is making me absolutely nuts. It almost feels like there's a spider on my face. Now, when this is happening, or some people get like spider webs on their face, or feeling like there's a hair on your face or a fuzz or something tingling. Okay, whenever this is happening, it's usually a paranormal experience, messages coming through, spirit trying to interact with you, or you're not fully speaking your truth. And I'm going to have to go with that for Aries in the month of August in love and relationships. Couple things here. You could feel like someone's energetically pulling and tugging at you. Someone is pulling and tugging at your attention. Someone is pulling and tugging at you through astral travel, showing up in your dreams, telepathically popping into your head. Okay, trying to, I don't want to say harvest your energy, because I don't get a vampiring feel off of this, but some people aren't very patient, or some people don't know healthy boundaries, or some people have codependency, and some people just desperately want to be the center of your attention, or a part of your world, or your main focus. And if they can't get that out of you, they will energetically come into your energy field to manipulate in order to get that. It's almost like, look at me, look at me. So I have someone doing that with you. I also feel like there's something slightly to your past, because this weird feeling has been over to the left side of my mouth. There's something slightly to your past that you have not fully communicated, and you're out of time. I'm actually getting 2 weeks. So I want to say you've got the first 2 weeks of August to spit it out, to bring clarity to a relationship. This does not have to be romantic. This could be a friendship, family dynamic with a coworker, a boss. Okay, there's something you were supposed to communicate. Now, it's not that you're not aware of it. It's just that you haven't wanted to do it. You may have also decided, I'll give in and do it, but it's going to have to be the right time or the right circumstances. And I really feel like you're just going to have to sort of push. You're just going to have to make it happen. You're going to have to make it a priority, right? Just because something makes you uncomfortable, it's not something you really feel like dealing with, doesn't mean the universe comes in with, you know, a diaper and baby wipes and powder and Desitin and is like, oh, let me help you with that. It's on you. You don't like it? Oh, well, it's on you. You know what I mean? The universe doesn't really care how we feel about things for the most part, if that hasn't been blatantly obvious through your other life experiences. And if this isn't something you feel like doing, it doesn't mean you aren't required to do it, because for you, it's part of your throat chakra. All right. So this is bigger than what it may seem. So speak your truth in any relationship dynamics where you've been holding on to something. Now, for some of you, this is coming up almost really very specifically in family or love. And it's almost like you've been using it as a control tactic. Now, this is a general message. Obviously, it could be roles are reversed here, where you feel like someone's sort of holding back, right? Biting their tongue, keeping something in their back pocket in order to manipulate you. But originally how I felt it was that for most of you, it's you doing this. So using it almost like a lack of communication as a form of control. Take it how it resonates, but I do think this will get cleared up by the second week going into the third week, one way or another. It's going to have to come out. For those of you who are open to new love, I do feel like someone's coming in, dropping a seed, planting a seed, giving you flowers. You know, could this be a date where someone actually gives you flowers? It could be. They look more like daisies than roses, though, which is going to symbolically mean that you guys could find yourself interacting with someone new in love, where it's more playful, it's fun, it's about joy, it's about gratitude, you know, it's about exploring life, it's about, you know, dancing and our inner children playing together, you know, then something serious and romantic, you know, and very mature. Now, I'm not saying it can't go there, and I'm not saying that something that's fun and frivolous, you know, is always only going to be fun and frivolous. I think it's time you have this. I think this is something you've been manifesting and that you want, and you've been wanting something more playful and youthful, you know, and exciting. And so here it is. Could it turn into something serious? I think we'll know more in about 2 months what that's going to look like. All right, now in the area of money, career, and investments for Aries, August, money, career, and investments. Second week going into the third week, Aries. Oh, you're putting your foot down with this person. It's almost like proactive scare tactic. It's like, I'm going to put my foot down because I've seen enough. You know, if I don't put my foot down now, you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. You know, they'll create chaos if they're not put in their place now. I don't know if this person you're dealing with in business, right, or you've shared income with this person, I don't know if it's from their past patterns or it's from past patterns in your life. You're not a numbskull. You're no clown. You weren't born yesterday. You know, you're aware of these types of people and patterns and behaviors and systems, right? And how it's going to go. You know how it's going to play out. So you have to manipulate it so that it plays out in a better way. And you guys, again, this is a general message, so take it how it resonates. But for some of you, it's both. You've seen this past pattern in life in general, and you know you have to nip it in the bud. And for some of you, you've seen enough with this person's behavior that if you don't sort of back them up against a wall or set a boundary line and make sure it's not crossed, you know it's going to get out of control. So you're doing it now. I feel like that's a good move for you to make. And I feel like it's really important for you to understand that some people are manipulative through pretending to be aloof or confused, or, you know, they don't show up. You know, all of a sudden they're unavailable. All of a sudden they have chaos in their personal lives. You know, they're showing inconsistency as a way to sort of wreck the contract, the union, right? The partnership, whatever it is. So watch for different and maybe new forms of manipulation, because there is more that you're going to be learning from this. I do feel for most of you, though, the third week going into the fourth week, primarily in the middle of the fourth week, you have an increase in money. So you have an increase in, like, an investment is paying out. You're seeing yourself get a contract that's really like solid, big, larger, longer term. Okay. Something like that. And for some of you, you may be expanding on your business, your title, or graduating from some type of like research, certification, education. Mostly though, this feels business related. Okay. Or title related. So I feel great about all of that for you. Some of you could also be looking at a house or land. Okay. Real estate, property. Or upgrades to your current like residency situation. This could also be changing your work environment. Take it how it resonates, but it's pretty big here. I want to say right between the first and the second week, and for some of you, I would say 50-65% between the second and the third week. So that looks good, and you being really happy with the turnout on that. Is there a hidden obstacle? A hidden obstacle for Aries, August? Hidden obstacle for Aries? Just got people just wanting your shit, you know, just people wanting your stuff, just people being like snickety and crabs in a bucket attitude and giving you the side eye, like just very like evil eye, like wanting, what is it, the Italians, right? The Sicilians hang peppers from their car. What is that? It's almost like, get your own. You know what I'm saying? You've got people watching you who are jealous of what you have. And then you can feel it. You can feel them staring. You know, you can feel a tension in the energy in the air. And you're like, what's wrong? Is something wrong? It's like, oh, no. You know, these jealous eyes are just blazing a hole through me. You know, I can feel them watching. So this is going to be like on your social media, in real life. It feels like you may be interacting directly with these people, though. These aren't just, you know, watchful audience members as much as, you know, they are people you directly interact with. And You may even consider some of them to be friends or acquaintances or, you know, partners in some capacity. So don't be fooled, I would say, especially for those of you who are with a lover who just can't ever seem to measure up to your abilities. Like you always score higher than this person, right? It may be coming to a head this month. So hidden obstacle, watch out for the evil eye, or get the evil eye out, or hang your peppers or whatever it is. Can they harm you? No, not unless you know, let people in too close, you know, that you should have been following your intuition about. So follow your intuition and you'll do just fine. But if you're feeling a little paranoid about it, you're right, 100%. And you know what? Shine so bright you burn their eyes, because you're about to level up again. All right. Aries, have a great month. All right. August. I feel so weird about August. It's like, where did the time go? I don't know what happened since like May. I feel like I'm in a loop. Okay, August. Moving on for Taurus. Do we have Taurus up here? Do we have Taurus at the bottom? Okay. Just a reminder, while Diana gets Taurus up here, that we are doing a Q&A afterwards. So you guys can ask about any type of question. And no, I do not need all of your Zodiac info. So drop your $10 donation and get your questions in. It is unlimited. Taurus. Taurus is August 2026. What is coming up for Taurus in the area of love and relationships? Taurus. Somebody seems to be confronting you. Oh, you know, if you've been toying around with someone, and maybe you're like, I'm not, I'm just trying to figure things out. If you've been toying around with someone, I repeat, they're not going to be having it much longer. All right. So if you've been like, I don't know how I feel about this lover, I don't know if I belong in this committed relationship, I don't know if I want to stay in this marriage. It's like, I don't know. It's almost like a lot of you are looking for a softer place to land, a better net. I don't know. Maybe you're looking for a different lover. Maybe you just don't want to be without the comforts that this relationship brings, whether it's a stroke to your ego, support in the home, emotional support, a certain image that you're giving off. You seem comfortable in some ways, and that comfort is not something you seem to want to give up. However, this does not look like a match to me. And I don't care how you slice it, dice it, wrap it up with a bow, right? It's still looking like clown shoes at the end of the day. And you're like, it's not working. Well, so if you know this, if you've known this, if you've dealt with it because you guys have hit bumps in the road, or you've taken breaks, or you're constantly detaching, it's time to confront it once and for all and say, it isn't working. I don't want to entertain this anymore. Now, maybe you did do something like that, and this person was like, oh, but I love you and I miss you. And, oh, you know, Taurus, I can't be without you. And, you know, Taurus is a very lovable character. And you were like, okay, you know, I'll grace them with my presence a little while longer. Now it's done. Okay. Now we're done. Especially if this has been going on the last 2 months. So we have this person coming to you and basically being like, look, I'm confronting you on this, you know, you need to step up, or it's almost like a shit or get off the pot type of an attitude. And I think you just have to be like, you know, jig is up. Like, it is what it is. Okay, then go, you know, okay, then go. But whatever and however this plays out, and it's a general reading. So if the roles are reversed, take it that way. But this is an exiting of an old, stale, dried up scenario that was never really meant to be locked into a long-term position, from what I can see. All right. And it's going. Now, you do have a lot of family dynamics coming in the middle of the month, the third week in particular, where there could be some circus performances, some, you know, festivals, festivities, it's very loud. You could have people in the family who are going through a lot. I see some people on a Ferris wheel, which can mean, they're in mouse on a wheel energy. You're trying to intervene. These aren't necessarily things that are happening directly to you. It's inadvertently you stepping in and giving some type of support. But you could find yourself tied up in family affairs that are sort of taking over your mind, taking over your schedule, taking over your energy field, and not allowing you for a lot of personal time and healing and development and an ability to be centered. Maybe some of you are taking care of, kids or an elderly parent, something like that. Take it how it resonates. But I do feel like you're going to have to force yourself to be more balanced there. And for those of you open to new love, it does feel like you could have an ex returning. That could feel like a new love partnership, a new type of dynamic. So we have seen significant growth between both people, mostly the one who needed to do it. Okay. And you could also be looking at some type of new education, training, work environment, something like this that's going to expose you to a lot of new people, a new class. And we could see some love brewing there as well. Taurus, we're going to move into money, career, and investments. Money, career, and investments for Taurus, August. Interesting. So I'm getting this symbol of a red balloon going up and popping, and then all of this cash falls out of it, none of it being coins. Okay. All of it being bills, which is automatically going to be bigger money, bigger partnerships, bigger contracts, bigger opportunities, long-term expansion opportunities. And the image of the red balloon is about power. So if you've been in a position for a lot of you, I'm getting the last 2 years, I don't know if you felt stuck, or if you've just been behind the scenes, or if you just have been feeling like you haven't fully launched into what it is that you feel passionate about doing, what you're really here to do at this time. It seems like you're launching. And as you launch, you are becoming more powerful. You're being seen as a power player. So maybe you've been working the last couple of years on self-empowerment. That's great. That's step number one. Now you are making sure that you're being seen as a power player, that the world can come to you for whatever you're offering, right? Your expertise, your business, et cetera, et cetera. And I think it's going to work. I think that you could be looking at, even for the next few months, I don't want to go too far ahead, but for the next few months, busyness, expansion, everybody kind of wanting a piece of you. And I feel good about all of this. I also think that a lot of you are moving into, in the second week of the month, I want to say, an opportunity for greater investment. Now, for some of you, this could be a piece of property. This could be, something bigger, like, a new vehicle, etc. Maybe you're expanding into like another country, citizenship, your visa. But for some, it's just really like keeping up with appliances and investing in your wardrobe and, the way you present, I want to say, and the things that you use every day. All right. So a big increase in that during that time. In the area of money, career, and investments, or was I just doing money, career, and investments? No, I think I was just doing that. Is there a hidden obstacle? Is there a hidden obstacle for Taurus in August? Don't dig up the past. Okay. Let sleeping dogs lie. Is that how they say? Don't beat a dead horse. For the love of God, move on. Okay. I know, you know what? I know you guys can be really stubborn about things. But every time you think of yourself as being stubborn or willful, maybe replace that with stagnant. Replace that word with stagnant. All right. Because I see you being very tempted, and this is your hidden potential obstacle, being very tempted this month to dig up old graves, to dig up old storylines, to drudge something up. You know, this could be in relationships. I think for most of you, for sure, could be. This could be with fears or low self-esteem, you know, or old toxic ways of thinking that have held you back in the past. Let it lie. Okay, throw some flowers on that grave and keep on going. All right, thank you, Tauruses. Have a wonderful month of August. We are going to move on to Gemini. Gemini's next, my fellow Geminis. How's everyone doing tonight? Are you posting? I want to hear what is your sun, moon, rising, Venus. Let me know. Let me know in the comment sections. Where are my fellow Geminis? I'm June 22nd. You guys also, where are my twins? Who else has a June 22nd birthday? Drop your birthday in the comment section so we could see who has the same birthday. Just a reminder, you guys, I am doing a Q&A afterward. So drop your $10 donation and your questions. Unlimited. All right, Gemini, we're ready to go. Gemini for the month of August. August for Gemini. August for Gemini. Love. Relationships. You seem to be coming alive in love and relationships for August. So I don't know if July was boring for you, or if maybe you felt like July was brewing for you, you know, but like June was kind of boring and May may have been totally asleep, but it feels like it's like brewing. And it feels like it comes to life in August. So it's almost like a grow a pet or a chia pet or a bloop, you know, you used to those little pellets, you'd put them in water and they would grow into some big slimy dinosaur or something. You know, it's like, here it is. And it looks a little chaotic. I don't know that you want all of this, okay? But you seem to be, for those of you who are single, and even if you're not, Gemini, you may be attracting a lot of potential lovers. A lot of people who want to spend time with you. A lot of people want to dote on you. A lot of people want to buy you things. Also, so you could be male or female, right? This could be just people who want to gift you things and take you out. And I think some of this is to make them feel better. It's almost like arm candy. Maybe the way you present, the energy and the vibe that you bring makes them feel more exciting about themselves. I feel better about who I am and what I have going on in my life with Gemini at my side, with Gemini on my arm. So I'm going to give Gemini some candies and, you know, lure them in so they'll go out with me. That's fine if you're having fun. I do wonder, though, out of all of this mix of people coming in, if by the third week of the month, you're really gauging it, you're like, what's a value to me here? I'm not sure that these are all really a good fit, or, you know, people I would spend more time with necessarily, looking in terms of investment, okay, with your energy. It does feel like you could find yourself talking to someone that third week going into the fourth week, for those of you who are available, you know, for new love partnerships. You could find yourself talking to somebody from your past who's trying to return and convince you that they've gone through change. I'm not saying they haven't. I don't know that this type of change would actually stand the test of time. So be very hesitant there. Make it go a long time before you would certainly commit again to see if they can actually keep up with this change. You know, change is useless if it's mental. It only matters if it's coming out through actions, and that can only be proven through repeated testing. All right. Some of you, though, also seem to have someone new in here who is very financially stable, who's kind of clean cut. So if this is a guy, you know, he's kind of like paying close attention to his jawline, his beard, his mustache, everything's like waxed and primed, and, you know, he smells good. He smells like money, honey. You know, he is wearing, this may be a Taurus, but he's kind of wearing luxury, you know, on himself because he thinks he is luxury. He thinks in terms of living a luxurious lifestyle. So he has, you know, the goods to back it up. And If this is a woman, it would be the same thing. You know, this is someone who takes really good care of herself. These are people who center themselves. They could be a little chaotic in love, a little bit fiery, a little bit like, let's jump in, let's dive in, you know, let's talk all the time. Let's have like elongated dates, you know, maybe let's like jump in the sack and see where this chemistry goes. That's fine. You know, again, if you're feeling it, if not, you can slow it down. Certainly, at least the ambition is there. I don't know exactly where that's going to go. Obviously, for each person, it's going to be a little bit different, but I do think it's something you're supposed to explore. So I would not blow that off. You guys may also have some people returning from your past, whether it's deceased loved ones or like family that you have division from, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, old friendships even coming up again. So I would expect some of that this month. In the area of money, career, and investments, money, career, and investments for Gemini, August, money, career, and investments. You do have a big investment opportunity or a big career opportunity, depending on your situation between the second and the third week. So somebody could be coming to you with a contract, with an outline, with a roadmap. I see blueprints being opened, you know, with a suggestion. For those of you that work in the media in any way, or publishing, you know, advertising, you know, marketing, it's like, we're offering you this project, or we want you on this project. You know, for some of you, it could be like the face of, so you could be getting on like podcasts, interview, we want you to be the face of, not necessarily a product line, but like, we want you to talk to our audience. You know, we want you as part of sort of this branded experience we're trying to create. Like, you bring the vibe that we want. So, I mean, you're definitely being seen. You're definitely being understood, maybe even in ways that you don't understand yourself, or you don't fully understand how you are perceived. This could open up a whole new, I'm hearing, can of worms, or a whole new side of business and expertise for you that you didn't really consider before. And I think you could find yourself in the third and the fourth week, like kind of falling down a rabbit hole with that and being like, maybe I do want to check out some new avenues for myself. So I love this for you guys. In the area of a hidden obstacle, is there a hidden obstacle for Geminis? Geminis, August, hidden obstacle. You may have some exes stalking you. You could have some people who also want to come and sort of drag you down, you know, let the air out of your tires. Now, for some of you, it could be exes coming in to let the air out of your tires, you know, hopefully not literally. I wouldn't rule it out entirely, but, you know, this is more symbolic of just draining me. You know, you really have to watch this month that people aren't just draining you, that they are putting something back in. And often, because you bring so much energy to different situations, it could go unchecked, you know, until you're on empty. And you're going to want to pay attention earlier than that. That's the karmic point of all of this. You know, when do I feel someone coming and I'm just, you know, when do I feel like, I want to put my phone down, you know, they haven't even texted yet. And you're like, I want to move away from that. You know, when do you talk to someone and you're like, oh God, bore me to death. You know, that's a drain. That's a drain. You don't need a house to fall on you. That's a move away from that. Okay. Move away from that early. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Okay. Geminis, have a wonderful month of August. Thank you for being here. Okay, we are moving on to Cancers. Cancers. My fellow Cancers, I am June 22nd. I am a Cancer sun. Anyone else? I'm a Cancer Gemini cusp sun, Gemini moon, Gemini rising, Gemini Venus. But yes, my sun sign is Cancer. Is it 0 degrees? 1 degree? I'm in the low ranking. I'm learning in this life. I'm supposed to learn how to be a Cancer, I guess. You guys, let me know your birthdays. All right, Cancer. Love and relationships. Okay. Cancers, what is coming up for you in August 2026 in the area of love and relationships? Love and relationships for my fellow Cancers. Between the second and the third week, I have tall, dark, and handsome. You guys may have someone new coming in, male, female, unicorn, okay, whatever, they, other, whatever. Tall, dark, and handsome is basically going to symbolize whatever is the peak of attraction for you. Okay, whatever you feel is like the most good looking, best physique, okay, temptation person. That's what that means. So that's coming in between the second and the third week. But between the third and the fourth week, I had you yelling at people and being like very maternal or paternal, very parental, you know, very boss energy, very teacher energy, you know, very elder sibling, very like I'm putting people in their place, trying to get this group to behave the way it needs to behave. All right. So I want to look at that next. Let's start with this potential tall, dark, and handsome love affair. Now, some of you, it actually feels like you could already be talking to this person. Maybe you just met this person, or this is kind of fresh. This is kind of early, like within the last, 6 to 7 weeks or months. But for some of you, this is brand new. I see them entering, coming off a boat onto the scene, which can mean that this person has been traveling, that they've been maybe introspective and doing a lot of inner work, a lot of healing work, okay, with their emotions, trying to transmute some things from their past. They do seem to be a little bit of, I heard wounded healer. I wasn't going to say that. I was going to say they seem to be, yeah, maybe someone who was done dirty in the last relationship, or has just reached a point where they're like, I'm done. I've had enough bad experiences. You can reach a point where you're done. You don't care anymore about that, about dating. They could be right on that brink. This, though, with spirit saying wounded healer, suggests that either you or them, possibly both of you, have wounded healer energy where you have overreached, overgiven, held space, maybe collected red flags, or maybe you were deceived in the past. And now you two are coming together, really seeing eye to eye. It could feel more like a friendship. That's great. That's wonderful. It could feel like, well, what is this? Or is this maybe just supposed to be like a friends with benefits situation? This could be one of those things where you're not sure exactly how to label it because it isn't giving you butterflies and it's not taking you on a roller coaster ride and it's not super toxic and they're not playing cat and mouse games. It's just very upfront. It's very open book. You text this person and like they were telepathically already texting you. It's like you're in each other's energy. You're in each other's souls because you've been in each other's pasts. So you've had past lives together. This is a contract. This is a contracted relationship. It just is. So I think that's going to be worth exploring. Now, for those of you that are already in, if I didn't already say this, if you're not already in something committed, in particular, the second week, I feel you needing to focus on your money. So for those of you in something committed, you're focusing on your money, joint investments. Maybe one of you is trying to expand upon career and the other one needs to support. Okay, in that, maybe we're taking turns on that. This could just be a decision to sign a contract, make an investment, and you guys are pulling together and doing teamwork on that. I feel good about that. Some of you may be bringing in a baby, a dog, a goat, planning like to start a farm or something. I don't know, like, I want to grow more. I want to work more with the land. It feels like a big investment. Okay. Like I'm pouring into this new sort of baby or project. and it will pay off. I do feel good about that. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. That's a little, that one goes in a couple different directions. We'll see down the road. This idea of you guys yelling at some people, telling them how to behave, that's between the third and the fourth week. So you could be taking on a real boss role, a parental role, okay, with a group of people and making very clear how they need to behave if they want to remain part of the group, or with one individual, making very clear how you expect them to behave if they're going to continue to reap the benefits of knowing you, or living under your roof, or working for your company, or et cetera, right? Being graced with your presence. It's like, this is what I expect. You're being short, sweet, to the point. It's a little cutthroat, as it has to be. In the area of money, career, and investments, for Cancers, August, Cancer, August, money, career, and investments. Okay. In the second week going into the third week, you could be getting some information about a great investment opportunity. So you're hearing something either through the grapevine, or someone's dropping you a message, someone's dropping you a hint, someone's dropping you the info that you need to make a move. Like, I'm gathering the info at the end of the week or through the weekend, and then Monday, here I go. Monday, Tuesday, I'm launching. Okay. I feel positive about all of that, and like it is actually going to work out well for you. I also feel like some of you may be expanding upon your title, your research, your certification, your business, okay, branching off into something like a franchise. Maybe you're launching your podcast. I actually have a lot of you being in the media in the next 6 months. So, Cancers aren't usually like, let me have it, let me have it, let me have it, let me get out there. But, it can happen. And this feels like the beginning of sort of an unfolding of bigger things for you, with a lot of celebration. So I feel good about all of that. Be careful for things that may break or may require your investment later on in the month, including something like a trip to the dentist. Okay, I can't prescribe or diagnose, but make sure you're not postponing any type of maintenance on your body, on the things that you own, etc. In the area of a hidden obstacle for Cancers, August, hidden obstacle. It's like something plaguing your mind, and it may come up as like a monster in your dreams, or it may just come up as stress dreaming or nightmares. It may be sort of like a heavy cloud of energy that just sort of keeps coming back in and pulling you down, pulling your attention away. And you're like, what? And you give it your attention, and it's almost like just a cloud, or it evaporates, or it's almost like a paranormal energy. It could also be the collective. Okay, so Cancers are very, very in tune to the cycles of the moon. We're very in tune to the spirit world. We're very in tune to the collective needs and thoughts and energies of everyone around us in the world. Okay, and at some point, you just have to turn that crap off. At some point, you just have to be like, I don't care. I can't fix this. It's useless. It's what am I supposed to do with this energy that's pulling and tugging? You know what I mean? It's almost like having this hidden obstacle the entire month, in particular the first 3 weeks, that's like calling your attention and pay attention, and I need this and I need that. And you're like, I can't. There's only so much of me to go around. I can't, it's not for me to do everything. It is for me to handle and give and heal and alchemize in areas and with people and situations I'm meant to. So whatever is not part of your life contract, it's not part of your path, it's none of your business. You're going to have to turn it off, because otherwise it'll just suck you down the entire month. Cancers, have a wonderful month of August, and thank you for being here. We are going to move on to Leos. I have to take a quick restroom break, but I am on this thing. I'm trying not to knock everything down. I will be right back to do Leo. we there? No puzzles yet? Good, good. Looks good. Leo? Leos. Leos, for the month of August, love, relationships for Leo, August. Man, you seem to be clearing your throat chakra. I mean, you really seem to be speaking your truth. Between the second and the third week, I don't know why it's so volcanic for you, why it was something it seems like you waited on for a long time. Okay. Now, maybe for some of you, you did say this before to someone. So maybe that's part of the reason, if you feel like you're becoming a broken record, I've had to approach this multiple times. I'm not getting the result that I was hoping for, from this person, and feeling almost like you're leaning into a little bit of that ego, which is fear, manipulation, and control. You can't control someone else. You can speak your truth, but you can't control their reaction to it. You can't make them do anything. And you may be reminded of that, this month, again, during that time frame, that it's, how do I want to say this? It's almost like you're disappointed that this person isn't responding to you in the way that you had hoped. And now it's volcanic. You're like, well, you're never gonna, or like, I'm telling you this again, or like, I have to, I was hoping I wouldn't have to say this or confront this, or I think you don't also want to feel like you're begging. You should never have to teach someone. You should never have to teach someone, I don't want to say how to treat you, but you should never have to teach someone the basics of common sense and respect and appreciation and loyalty. That shit needs to go. All right. So it feels like what you're doing is you're confronting something in an almost volcanic way, or it feels that way to you. And this other person is it's like blasé. They're like, whatever, they're just sort of unbothered. And it's like, hey, if people aren't going to feel passionate, okay, to work with you, then they don't need to, okay, work with you at all. You have plenty of other options. For some of you, you are bringing in someone new. This could be someone from your past returning, or you reaching out. Take it out resonates. We could be switching roles here. You could also have someone very interested in you who's kind of spying on you, at the same time. This peaks in the third week. So I would say maybe talking to someone from your past around the second week going into the third week, but the third week, somebody watching you. Now, this person watching you seems a little bit sheepish. They're like, let me throw a little crumb, let me see if they'll start to pick up, on what I'm laying down here. And they're playing these types of games to see if you like make, eye contact, or you try to elongate the conversation, or, you come up to them first next time. It's like all of these attempts. This could be someone in a work environment. I mean, this is definitely, maybe a delivery person or someone you see when you go in to get your coffee every day. I mean, this is definitely someone you're around regularly, for them to be able to play these elongated games with you, but they're trying to sort of lure you in and then duck out, which can suggest they're trying to stay in their feminine energy. And they would like for you to be the more assertive, okay, or like the aggressor in this situation, for romantic purposes. All right. And it also feels like with your family dynamics and work dynamics, there could be some tension there where people aren't doing very well. I think you're fine. I think you're great this month. But sometimes when you have partners or bosses or coworkers or family members who are going through a ton of shit shows, like back to back, they can not really bring their A game. They can actually not show up at all, or their workload could end up tipping into your workload or whatever. Okay. And so you just seem to be managing inadvertently, okay, and sometimes directly, what's going on with them. So make sure you take really good care of yourself this month. Some of you may be going on a vacation. You're like, I'm having a relationship with me this month. You know, I'm going to the beach. I'm going to the Bahamas, Jamaica. Like I'm out. You know, I see you with pina colada on the beach. So be it. Have a good time. Your relationship to yourself, Leos, is the most important relationship you will ever have. Okay. And that seems like a general theme for your reading here. Money, career, investments, money, career, and investments for Leos, August 2026, Leos. Yeah, you could get a big opportunity. It could also drop. I don't want to create self-fulfilling prophecies, but it is possible that if something was put together half-assed or it wasn't official, even if people talk about something being so official, if it wasn't, that may prove to be true. That especially between the second week, the third week, something drops. So something that was supposed to be a big launch or a guaranteed scenario isn't, okay, in business. It isn't with a contract. For those of you dealing with a legal situation, maybe you were told this is when things would move forward, or there's going to be a deadline here. It isn't. All right. There could be something shifting about that. I feel good about that, though. I mean, no matter what, it's going to work out, you know, in your favor. If something was wonky or a bum deal, or there could be something better, we want that. We don't always logically know that, but our higher mind is manifesting that. So I also feel that for those of you who are business owners, your supervisors, your CEOs, managers, whatever, also for any of you who are in the media, entertainment, politics, publishing in any capacity, it seems like between the third and the fourth week, you're being seen, you're being given I saw the golden ticket from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory when he like found it. Didn't he find it in the sewer or something? A grate in the street, maybe, whatever. Same thing, I'm sure. But it's like, I can't believe I found this. It's like, is this real? You know, it's almost like, is this too good to be true? Or, but then you're saying, no, I totally know I deserve it. And you're like, I have to fix this puzzle on TikTok. You're like, I totally know I deserve it. And I actually felt like it was coming, like almost like, of course it came. Of course it had to come eventually. Right. So I really like that for you. And for those of you who are a little bit hesitant about an investment you're making, you know, with your career, with your business, with yourself, again, in the public eye in any way, somebody may be coming in to offer you help with that, maybe manage you or mentor you or just give feedback to you. I would definitely take it. Okay. This is the time for you to be seen. In the area of a hidden obstacle. Is there a hidden obstacle for Leos? Well, I mean, I gave that other message earlier, like a general theme, you know, loving yourself is the most important thing. Don't forget that. Don't ever forget that. But is there a hidden obstacle? Yeah, you could have a lack mentality. You could have a lack mentality in August where you're kind of like, well, things haven't worked out in the past. I mean, I just hear Eeyore. Things haven't worked out in the past, or this economy is shit, or like, well, not really feeling it, you know. I had a cousin who would bitch every year, every freaking year. I swear to God, he would bitch. Just doesn't feel like Christmas. I was like, go get a tree, go get some lights, throw some glitter on that shit, and call it Christmas already. Like, at what point do you wait for the universe to give you every cotton picking little thing of every feeling and emotion? Or when you go create it, you say, I want to feel this thing. I'm going to go create it. I'm going to go get in that energy. I'm going to manifest that energy. Okay. Stay out of poverty mentality. Stay in a wealth mindset. Remember, your vibe is what attracts more prosperity. Okay. And if it's in the dumpster down here, it's just going to attract more of that. Like attracts like. Okay. Leos, have a wonderful month of August. Thank you so much for being here. Virgo is up next. I didn't want to drink this because it makes me belch and I don't want to be like a giant man here, but it's so good and I'm so thirsty. So hopefully I don't turn into an animal. All right, Virgos. Wow, that was quick. Okay, you got that one fast. Virgos for the month of August 2026. Virgos, what is coming up for Virgos in love and relationships? A lot of family dynamics, a lot of parental dynamics. So some of you could be dealing with like a father going through significant change, or, you know, you could be dealing with paternal energies, whether these are like, you know, inheritances, or, you know, this is mentoring or mending relationships with paternal energies, living or deceased, but a lot of family dynamics, in particular with older siblings, and, or if you're the older sibling, right, two younger, and parents, primarily paternal energies. There's also a lot of talk in love. So you may have an ex trying to return, but being like, acting like they didn't set that up. And I wouldn't fall for that. It's almost this image of you being at a restaurant, you know, you're there with a friend and they're at the table next to you and they're just like, oh, I'm just going to have a salad. And like, I don't know, just a salad. Like nothing's a big deal. Like everything's light, like nothing's like, they're not hungry, you know, like they're not hungry for your attention. And they totally went out of their way to make sure. They may be approaching you. Here's a better way to say this. They may be approaching you and being like, oh, you just popped into my head. I just wanted to check and see how you were doing. Okay, sure, Jan. And you're like, I think we've done this. That seems to be your attitude. I think we've done this. Now, are you going to like go for a roll in the hay or something like that? I mean, I guess if it's amicable, you know, you both sort of understand that you're not taking this seriously. Just be clear in your communication, watch your karma there. But I don't, what's the point? Okay. What's the point is how that feels to me. Like we've got enough toxic evidence from patterns in the past that this isn't going to be a fun trip. We're trying to piece this thing back together again. It looks like broken ceramics. It'll never look the same. Okay. And it's done anyways. So we can't get anything more out of it. It's not a bowl you can eat from, even if you glue it back together again. There's also talk here of someone trying to come in with you that wants to possibly partner. Now, this could be getting into the money portion of your reading, and I'll get into that, but I want to say it could also be romantic. It's possible you find yourself working with someone in love and business. Coming up here to the future, this is the beginning of it. It's not going to make perfect sense in the month of August. I would highly doubt it, but definitely toward the end of the month, you could find yourself setting up meetings, getting ready to look at contracts, talking business, or getting ready to talk business. And some of the people coming in with that wave, there is something going on here. So new potential love partnership. For those of you in an established romantic relationship, you guys could be talking about doing something different with the kids or the dog or your investments, okay, your money. I keep getting almost like itchy palms, okay, itchy, this is your receiving side here. It could be that things are getting out of control. This could also be moving the kids from like one school district to another, or deciding to just parent, you know, differently, coming up with better schedules, et cetera, et cetera. But it's like everything, when you're married or you're in a relationship, you're putting out product, right? Everything you do together is building. So there's product you're pumping out. I don't care if it's just your, you know, your dog. And often that needs to be revamped so that it's efficient, it's solid product, and it isn't draining, right? The owners, the parents. Something needs to be looked at here a little more carefully. Seems like one person has the answers and the other person doesn't want to hear what those answers and solutions are. So, we'll see. All right. In the area of money, career, and investments, I am fasting. If you guys can hear my stomach, ignore it. Money, career, and investments for Virgos, money, career, and investments for August. Like I said, toward the end of the month, I do see a new opportunity coming in. Now, this could be you guys deciding that you want to work under a different company or getting a call about a business partnership, an opportunity that you either thought was closed or that door had previously been closed. You're getting like a call back. It almost feels like a call back. And I heard return to sender. So some of you may also be like, you know what? I appreciate that this opportunity is coming back around again. But you know what? At this point, I prefer to do my own thing. So for those of you who are looking at expanding in entrepreneurship, independent contracting, consultant work, whatever it is, right? Your investments, passive income, other just businesses that you run. It's like, I want to focus more on me being the one with the master keys at the head, the boss, the full-time owner, so I can control things. I don't want to give in to another system where I don't have full control. That's fine too. That's fine too. I feel good about all of that, but there's expansion either way. I also want to say in the second week of the month, you guys just be careful for like car maintenance, or anything involving your mobility, okay, at all. However you consider mobility, just take care there. Virgos, a hidden obstacle. Is there a hidden obstacle for Virgos in August 2026? Virgos, hidden obstacle. Someone's telling you the wrong thing. Someone's giving you the wrong instructions. Could it be the end of the second week? For some of you, yes. For most of you, it's the middle or the end of the third week. So someone's giving you wrong directions. And I almost feel like, I don't feel like, they did it purposely. I know they did it purposely. I can't tell if they did it because they intended to throw you off or they did it because they didn't want to be exposed as not knowing or doing it right. Who cares? Either way, the bottom line is this. We don't want to always look when people kind of do us dirty or they're inadequate, right? They're inept. We don't want to look at like, what's the intention? Who cares what the intention is? I only care about the action that was taken, the choices that were made, right? The outcome here. So this isn't a month to be like, well, they seem like a good guy. No, because they did know that it was inaccurate in some way. So we don't care about intention, okay? And that would be the hidden obstacles, listening to someone who is basically talking out of their rear end. They definitely don't know. And they're speaking as though they are 100% accurate. All right. Thank you, Virgos. Have a wonderful month of August. We're going to move on to Libras. Libra, love, Libra and love. You guys are so cute. I enjoy Libras. Libras for August 2026. What is going on with you guys in love and relationships? Love and relationships for Libra. It's almost like you're playing checkers and then it turns into chess. I think you've been playing with someone and you've been thinking, we're just playing checkers, and it turns into chess. Be careful for pregnancy. Be careful for maybe this person or you, it's a general message, goes through something really hard. You ever been dating someone kind of casually and then they go through something, like they trip and fall or their parent passes or something happens and like all of a sudden you're bonded. It just like overnight, this thing just got real serious, and not because it's being forced, but because it just naturally evolves into that. And it's like, wow, shit just got real, and there's potential here. It feels very supportive, very loving, but hard to deny that it just got leveled up in some way. This could also be, maybe it's not something negative happening. Maybe it's that one of you goes through something and it's to be celebrated, and you're celebrating for them, or they're celebrating for you in a very genuine way that increases your intimacy, which is free exchange of ideas and emotions, right? And maybe that didn't come from a lot of other people in their circle or your circle. We always know who our real friends and family are when we go through something tragic, we go through something hard, and we go through something celebratory. Then you get to see who's really around you, how they show up for you in those moments. And so, I don't know, there's something kind of magical happening here. Anyways, I think it's great. I do think that you could be analyzing it for a while, though, and being like, this is something a little more than what I sort of planned on happening here. We just went from checkers to chess. For those of you who are in an established romantic partnership, who is this? I don't know if I want to put that in that category or this category. Some of you may have an ex coming back. And it's like, look, I've changed. I went to rehab. I'm out of jail. I'm out of prison. It's like I broke up with that person. That paperwork is filed. Like, it's done. It's complete. Blah, 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 blah. They're coming in and they're like, it's over. I'm different. And you're like Bugs Bunny. What is this? Bugs Bunny? What does Bugs Bunny do? What up, Doc? You don't really care. Where are the carrots? Show me the carrots. You're a little you're a little silly. They're coming super duper serious, and you're like, like Bugs Bunny. Like, Bugs Bunny doesn't care about anything. That's funny. I wonder if Bugs Bunny is a Libra. That would so fit. Somebody Google that. Is that true? Or Gemini? What is he? A Sag? Anyways, I think that what's happening here is that you are not really wanting to fully entertain this, even though you feel like you deserve some flowers. Okay. And of course, roles could be reversed. This is a general reading, but you may feel as though you deserve this for your ego or closure, or you don't even need closure anymore. You don't need closure, but you appreciate, the sort of intellectual stimulation, the dopamine hit, the curiosity behind it. Like, yeah, I deserve to hear that. That they still want me, and that they've thought about me all this time. They've done this work, and this is the first place they came as soon as they got out of jail, so to speak. Right. Okay. Then there's somebody else, right? It feels like you guys have a lot of options coming to you in totally different ways, surprising ways, through the month of August. And it may be leveling you up in relationships. I'm going to leave it at that. We're going to move on to money, career, and investments. Money, career, and investments for Libras. You seem to be offered a position by, I heard, the foreman. This could be the owner. This could be the manager. This could be the supervisor, the boss man, boss lady coming to you and saying, between the third and the fourth week, I want you to take on this position. And you're like, I don't know how to do that. Or I don't know that I'm equipped for that. Or like, I'm not surprised you're asking me. I had a feeling you would, but I'm not super confident that I can sustain it. Maybe you're confident you could get into it, and while you're in the grace period, while they're training you in this and that, you think you'll do all right. But 3, 4, 6 months in, you're pretty sure you're going to face plant. And you're like, do I want to risk it? I think that's up to you. But what are you going to hold back your whole life? Learn new tricks and tools and be confident. Make up your mind, if you take it, that you're not going to allow that to happen. Okay, you're going to go through the training period or the newness, and yes, you'll do great then, but that you're going to maintain it in whatever way is necessary. Just be determined. Don't come into it wishy-washy if you're going to accept it, okay? Or it could kind of self-fulfilling prophecy fall apart. I do think that some of you also have I heard degree between the first and the second week. So whether you're expanding upon your title, your degrees, your businesses, okay, around that time, that's going to be great. And then right at the tail end of the month, it seems like you guys may have a chunk of change coming in. So I feel good about that as well. Maybe winning a legal dispute, or, you know, getting a check. I heard like the check is in the mail, basically. Is there a hidden obstacle for Libras? Libras, August. Hidden obstacle for Libras? Don't get so enmeshed with other people that it makes your stomach upset, or their emotions and thoughts and problems and energy starts to linger in your own energy field, almost becoming yourself, like you're becoming them, right? Keep that out of you. No one is an extension of you. You know, have all these interactions, but make sure that you are keeping your boundaries, you're cleansing yourself out, you're staying centered and rooted and grounded in yourself, and that these people and relationships and situations aren't living sort of rent-free in your head when you should be having your own thoughts, okay? Metacognition is going to be the word for you for the month of August. Thank you, Libras. Have a wonderful time. Next up is Scorpio. Just a reminder, if you guys haven't already done so, you can get your questions in. We are going to do a Q&A afterward. Once we get through the rest of the zodiac signs, you can ask any type of question. And it is unlimited tonight. So Diana, my beautiful producer, is dropping the directions in the comment feed here on TikTok and Instagram. If you are on Facebook or YouTube, it's in the description box. And if you guys want to book a private reading with me, go to Ivy Rivera, psychicmedium.com. Scorpio is up next. Scorpio for August 2026 in the area of love and relationships. What am I getting for you? Something you need to let go of. It feels like you're holding on to someone who's not holding on to you as hard. You're holding on to someone who's like slippery. You're holding on to something that wants to swim away into the ocean. You can't go in those waters. It's not for you. You're meant to stay on land. You know, you're meant to stay on the beach. You're meant to travel a new path, and you're trying too hard to hold on to somebody, in part because it's something from your past that made you feel like when you were with them, you were in a period of productivity in your life. You were in a period where you fully understood yourself. Maybe you felt more whole. Maybe you felt as though life was feeling like you had a net, or you had security, or there was a lot of hope for the future, or it was looking like prosperity and evolution. Whatever it is, you know, sometimes we get together with people, and that's true. There was a period, there is a spell where we feel, you know, like energetically when we're together, things are better. Regardless, this person is slipping away because that's where they're meant to go, and where you're meant to be, all right, is on a new path. And you need to get started, especially if you've been dragging your feet the last 2 months. Now, for some of you, I'm even hearing 6 to 7 months. I don't think it's been consistent. I think something happened 6 to 7 months ago where you uncovered something. So this is going to be for those of you, you know, who are in a long-term, more committed situation, obviously. But I think that moving forward is going to bring you a lot of relief, a lot of new entertaining relationships and circumstances. And the most important thing is that it improves your relationship to yourself, okay? Meaning you're coming into alignment with your higher mind by not holding on and clutching to what looks almost like a wet octopus. What the hell are you going to do with it? You can't do this, okay? And if that octopus wanted you, it could, it's got like 8 legs, right? Or whatever they have. I mean, it would happily be with you if it wanted to. Let it go. Something doesn't want you, don't want it, okay? You shouldn't be wanting things that don't want you back. Could this be reversed? Of course, this is a general reading. Take it how it resonates. But there's going to be movement there because it's out of time. Okay, there's no more choice. And that really is between the second and the third week. It feels like slipping away. Now, for those of you that are open to something new, I heard regulated. So you could be meeting someone, or newly, you've been recently dealing with someone. This comes up mostly between the third and the fourth week, who helps you to be regulated. So if you've had a lot of relationships where it's like, you know, I'm nervous, or I'm sweating a lot, or I'm, you know, stuttering over my speech, or why did I even agree to go on a date with this person? Because now I feel sick. Like, why did I even agree to do any of this? You may find that you're talking to someone who, like, none of that happens. You know, you could trip your own self up sometimes, but typically, like, anytime you're talking directly with this person, none of that happens. You feel very at peace. You feel very at rest. You feel a lot of synchronicity here. And I think this could be a contracted relationship, okay, honestly. So I think you could be dealing with soulmate, soul tribe. Something's going on here. This looks awfully good. For those of you that are already in something established, a relationship that's already established, I do feel like you guys could be looking at the grass is greener. I want to say just be careful, you know, looking out that window, the grass is greener over there, da 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 da. That's fine. Maybe that's true. Maybe things could be worked on in your relationship, but be careful with that grass is greener if you plan on venturing out into someone else's yard. Okay, something like that. I'm going to leave it at that. Looking at money, career, and investments. Money, career, and investments for Scorpio. Scorpio, August. Money, career, and investments. Looks good. Looks good. I'm dipping in. I'm taking out. I'm dipping in. I'm putting in. I'm taking out. And so, you know, I mean, we can't complain. If you have resources to take out that have to be spent, okay, or reinvested, so be it. At least they're there. That's good. You may not love that. You may also not really be looking at it, which is, I think, why it's coming up, because it's almost like I put a whole bunch in, I took a whole bunch and even more out and reinvested it. I put a whole bunch in, I take out. So, you know, it's like, are you fully aware? So whether it's you and like your spouse, it's you and the company you work for, whatever, you know, wherever you've shared income, or you have, you know, your resources, are you fully aware of how much you're putting in versus how much you're putting out? You know, we could be talking about overhead. We could be talking about just general costs of things. You know, this is investments that may not be bringing back as much as you thought they would. There needs to be a little bit more attention, dotting the I's, crossing the T's in that particular area. In the area of a hidden obstacle, is there a hidden obstacle for Scorpios? Scorpios, August, hidden obstacle. It's almost like shush. Okay. You're like like the whole month. You remind me of a bag of popcorn. You know, when you let it go for too long, it's like pop, 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 and then it's like slowing down, but it's just the smell of burnt popcorn, and it's like, this isn't even enjoyable anymore. You're doing too much, like you're doing the most. I think you just need to sort of calm down. I think talk less, listen more, talk less, keep your eyes and ears open, get out of the left side, logical side of your brain, get more into the right side, intuitive, fluid, okay, part of your brain. Be more receptive, and you know, be less outward, okay, this month, and you're going to feel far more in harmony, okay, with the world around you, yourself, and others. Absolutely. Thank you, Scorpios. Have a wonderful month. We're going to move on to Sagittarius. Sagittarius is next. Oh, we got 3 more to go. 3 more to go. August feels like money. Is anyone else feeling that? August feels like prosperity. August feels like love. August feels like dancing. Dancing in the sun, not even dancing in the rain, just dancing, you know? It's like, feels good. Also feels a little bit like release. It's going to be interesting for a lot of you. How was July for everybody? Let me know too if you listen to the horoscopes for July, you know, how any of that played out. And I think the first time I did this show was June. So let me know how these are playing out for you. Okay, this is all placements. There we go, Sagittarius. Sagittarius, August 2026. What is coming up for you in the area of love and relationships? Sagittarius. Feels a little chaotic. Feels like for those of you who have something more serious or long-term going on, between the second and the third week, we may be dealing with some relationship conflict or resolving issues or coming to a place of clarity. Between the first and the second week, you'd have somebody coming in like a sprite. This could be an ex popping up. This could be an ex popping into your head. This could be, you know, someone who's just attracted to you, trying to get your attention, but you've got somebody else there who's constantly like, I'm over here, I'm over here, I'm over here, I'm over here. I don't know if they're doing that literally, or if that's just how you feel about their energy. You're distracted by someone else's energy. So you may be with someone and be wanting someone else, for example. This longer term relationship, though, for those of you that are already in something, you may be, I heard meeting of the minds. So there has to be an actual, I don't know if you're dealing with a Scorpio. I think it was Scorpio, but you know, was it, who was it? I know, I don't remember. Maybe Libra. I don't remember. Leos, maybe. Anyways, I got this sort of for somebody else earlier that it's like, you knew this was over for you. You knew you weren't serious about this. You knew this wasn't working. And, or they do, you may have to switch roles. This is a general message, but you didn't do anything about it. Maybe you kept going back to this relationship. Maybe you just kept entertaining it. We're in denial. It's like, well, let's just have a nice meal together and, you know, have a nice weekend or whatever. And I'm going to try to look at the silver lining. I'm going to count my blessings. I'm going to appreciate what is here. What's that song? Love the one you're with. If you can't be with the one you love the one you're with. Love the one you're with. What is, ew. You know, what are we talking about here? I mean, love everyone, yes, but like, don't be with someone or you're not in love. You know what I'm saying? Like, be honest. So this could be a resurrection of an old topic, and it could be that it's coming to a head, and it very nicely, okay, has the potential anyways to very nicely sort of wrap up with the meeting of the minds. Just an agreement. We're not angry. You know, we're not screaming. It's not turning into a boxing match. No one's throwing anything, you know, it's like no meltdowns. It's just an acceptance of the reality of what we are, and more importantly, what we aren't. It also looks like a lot of you are dealing with a conclusion on a financial contract. So whether this is like a family member owes you something or a friend owes you something, this could be money. This could be a favor. This could also be like, I scratch your back, you scratch mine, you know, take it how it resonates. But somebody could be coming through for you because they kind of owe you, or vice versa. And that's going to be really important to pay attention to this month and make sure that it gets done, especially if you're the one who owes something. You know, make sure you step up. In the area of money, career, and investments, money, career, and investments for Sagittarius, money, career, investments for August, money, career, investments, career, spitting it out, I'm spitting it out, I'm spitting it out between the second and the third week. I'm saying, I want this job. I want this position. I'm following up. I'm putting out my resume. I'm announcing this new title for myself. I am launching, you know, I am here, I am available. So for those of you who have been wanting to start something new or gain access to work opportunity, I'm even in politics for some of you. So I don't know if this is like journalism, if this is politics, if this is, what is this? Advocacy work, legal work, politics, lawyers, legal. Interesting. Seems like you could be getting that foot in the door. Okay, that foot in the door. I feel good about all of that. I also feel like between the third and the fourth week, you guys should expect, it's almost like at the end of the third week, a little bit of a dip with your finances. Then it goes way up. into the 4th week. So I feel really good about that. All right. A little bit of a roller coaster ride there. I don't think you're shocked by it, you know, or you're like super worried necessarily. It's just like, this could be better. And then it's like, wow, I feel like I manifested how much better. Okay. A trick that I've been using, I've been saying, I don't know, I heard some girl say it and I was like, that's something I can actually remember and retain. But I saw a girl talking about her manifestation tricks and how she would always say, show me how good it can get. With anything that she wanted to see an improvement and show me how good it can get. And that's been working for me. It's that simple, you know, because you're in the feelings of what you want to have it look like. It's like, show me how good it can get. You're basically saying to the universe, bring this to me, prove it to me, prove it to me. But you're saying it out loud, show me how good it can get. Okay. And I see you using some technique, all right, like that. Even if it was just mental that brought it up that high. So recognize, okay, that you did that. You created that. You claimed that. It's not like having a lottery aspect, right? Or a horseshoe up your ass or just good juju for the week. No, no, no. That's law of attraction. That's manifestation. And what is in motion stays in motion. So stay with it, okay? You could see a second peek to this in, I'm hearing around October. Okay, this is very good for you. All right, hidden obstacle. Is there a hidden obstacle? What am I on? Sagittarius. Is there a hidden obstacle for Sagittarius? Sagittarius, hidden obstacle. Just speak your truth. You know, I have a frog in your throat. You know, get out of your own way, get out of your own head. Speak your truth in whatever way, shape, form, in context, with whom you need to. Because if you're leaving this frog in your throat, especially between the 2nd and the 3rd week, it will start to eventually block up all the other chakras. In particular, solar plexus, the root chakra, and maybe these other things that I see aren't going to go as big or as great or as grand as they could, you know. So it all really is here, okay, in the throat for you. Speak your truth. The only hidden obstacle there would be you. Sagittarius, have a wonderful month of August, and thank you for being here. We are going to move on to Capricorns. Capricorn is next. You guys, let me know if any of this is resonating with you already. I know we're not in the month of August, but often you could tell with these themes, especially the relationship stuff. I'm always curious. Capricorn. All right. Capricorns, your horoscope for the month of August 2026, Capricorns. In the area of love and relationships, you seem to be having a little bit of tug of war, butting of the heads, a battle with some, I believe these are family members. Take it how it resonates. This could also be between you and parents or between you and children, but it's like this butting of the heads is really, you know, two people who love each other and want to support each other and, you know, are here for the long haul with each other, but it doesn't really mean that it's working. And there's the battle of the wills. There's the battle of authority. You know, who's the parent? Who's the child? Who's the leader? Some of you could be experiencing this in love partnerships as well. But this would have to be a serious relationship, like marital, right? Cohabitating, monogamy, merged. But, you know, it does feel like this battle of the wills has to come to an end. So I would be working that out between the 2nd and the 3rd week. You may decide that some things are easier if you just back down, back out, let the chips fall where they may. I don't totally disagree with that. I think that in some circumstances like this, you can just be like, you want it? Take the rope. You want to keep pulling and tugging at this? I'm going to let go. I'm just going to let go. Let them fall. And then they'll get up and they'll brush themselves off and they'll come back and they'll be like, all right, we should do it your way. I think there's a high likelihood actually that that would happen. Some of you may feel like that's too risky to do. But, you know, either way, I think that a conclusion needs to be reached between the 2nd and the 3rd week on this situation because we can't do a tug of war forever. You may also, some of you may be overreaching. All right. So if it's none of your business, mind your own beeswax. Okay. Stay in your lane. And that will fix everything. For those of you that are open to new love, it feels like someone coming in, dancing and romancing and whining and dining you, and like, you know, chocolate covered cherries or chocolate covered strawberries and the wine to go with it or the champagne to go with it. It's giving very like Pretty Woman when she was in the hotel room that first night. It's very like, is this real? Like, is it this good? And not taking it very seriously, because like in that movie, she was just thinking he was the John for the night, but it ended up being everything. It ended up being, you know, their future. Sometimes you don't recognize these things when they first come in. You could have someone entering into your life where it's like, oh, this, you know, this is fantastic. I'm charmed 100%. So whether you're doing the charming, you're being charmed, right? You're very charmed. But it ends up actually being a lot deeper than that. It's not just about the romance or the sexual chemistry. You know, there's a lot of great banter here. There's a lot of humor for sure. There's a lot of intellectual stimulation. There's a lot of synchronicity too. It's weird in the way you guys like say things at the same time. It's weird to be with someone you don't know and to have telepathy or finishing each other's sentences. That's always a gitchy thing. Like, never overlook that. You're like, I don't even know them and we're already doing this. You're already doing this because you've done this before. There is a contract here. Something bigger is going on here. So don't dismiss anyone where it just seems like a good time, a fun time, you know, highly romantic, or like this other person has a lot of game and, you know, it's my style. It's more than your style. It's more than that. This is interesting. All right. Now, for those of you that are in something long-term, if there's been a dry spell, if there's been a lack of compatibility, if there's been a lack of chemistry, I won't get into it here. If there's been, how do I want to say this? If you've been on the fence as to whether or not this relationship is worth sticking with, okay, I think you guys are by the end of the month going to come to a conclusion and something gets said. I thought it was your partner saying something. Roles could be reversed. Somebody says something and it's like, I heard it and I just knew. I knew in that moment, I'm either sticking with this or I'm out. Okay, so that's interesting. In the area of money, career, and investments, money, career, and investments for Capricorns, August 2026, money, career, and investments. Who's putting all that in there? I don't know if you, for those of you who like play the lottery, for those of you that gamble, for those of you who do like high risk investments, for those of you who took also a gamble on someone else's business, or you invested in someone's like education, you know, their career in some way. Like, we got big payout coming back. We got big payout coming back. It feels to me like it's hitting mostly in the second week, but for some of you early in the third week as well. Okay. You guys may also, during that time, and for some of you between the third and the fourth week, you may have a big contract coming in with like millionaire, billionaire, you know, like someone with big resources is coming in to say, I want to work with you on this. And you're like, well, that's the support I need. Okay, now that's support. I feel good about that for you. So you may be going into business, signing a contract, making an agreement, bringing in, you know, whether it's like a new client or, you know, they're using your skills. This is especially for those of you that are independent contractors, consultants, etc. You have a brand. You have a brand. There's also, I want to say, talk later in the month of possibly putting money down on whether this is like a boat, a car, land, commercial real estate, a home office for some of you. And you're like, really? Am I going to do this? You can work from home? Yeah, if you have all the equipment, you have everything you need, why can't you? Some of you may also be getting into the media. All right, so it's like having to invest. I mean, I get all this, you know, it was like, oh God, I don't know what I'm doing. This is so like, I'm so fish out of water with tech, you know, or cameras or lighting or any of this, right? Or makeup, like I'm so out of it, but you learn. You may feel fish out of water, but you learn, Okay, so it's like, let me just buy the good stuff and hope that it all works out, and I'll learn as I go. So some of you may be like turning on the lights, camera, action. All right. That can also just mean launching and then being seen. Is there a hidden obstacle for Capricorn? Capricorn, hidden obstacle, August 2026. Capricorn, hidden obstacle. Don't let anyone rain on your parade. Don't let anybody come in and, be like, I just see some sloppy people coming in, like looking like a pig, like eating a lot of pancakes and, talking trash and being like, I know everything and I'm bigger and I'm better and I'm, a glutton. It's what it looks like. Don't let gluttonous, insecure people who can't make it on their own come in and rain on your parade. Okay, whether they're telling you you're taking too big of a risk, or you should stay in a safety zone, or you can't pull something off, or these things never work out well, ignore them. Ignore them. Okay, they've never been anywhere. They're not going anywhere. They've never done anything. Okay, forget about it. Thank you, Capricorns. Have a wonderful month of August. We're going to move on to Aquarius. Aquarius is next. Who said July was a bit rough? Melissa said, thank you, Vanessa. Same to you. I think it was for happy birthday, Melissa. Okay. Yeah, July. Who said July was a bit rough? What sign are you? Who said that? July was a bit rough. Yeah, it seems to be like a mixed bag in July. Okay, here we go, Aquarius. I'm getting stir crazy. I feel like I got to get out of my chair and do the rest of these standing up. At some point, I'm going to have to do that with live shows because it's just not my nature to sit for this long. I eat my dinner standing up. I do everything standing up. I got a lot of energy, a lot of jitters. It's not relaxing to be confined. Okay, we have everything. Okay, Aquarius for August 2026. What's going on for Aquarius in love and relationships? Aquarius. Somebody's confessing their love for you and somebody's quite dramatic about it. I almost have Romeo and Juliet, very, oh God, I don't know. Somebody seems to be laying it on a little thick, and I honestly don't feel like it's because they're trying to. I really do think that they're that dramatic, and you're kind of like, but they're feeling that. I mean, they're really very genuinely feeling very deeply. Aquarius, just because you don't have feelings, okay, doesn't mean the rest of us don't. So I don't know. It's not that you're turned off. It's just that you're looking at them like they have lobsters crawling out of their ears or something. And I think that you're going to have to respond to this. Okay. So you could have multiple people actually coming to you this month being like this, a little extra, especially between the first and the second week, but mostly in the first half of the second week. And I think it's your job, let's say it's your job this month, to hold space for people, even if you don't feel like that. It's not to say you don't feel anything for them or that you don't care. It's just like, I'm not feeling all that, or you wouldn't explain it that way, or you're feeling a little uncomfortable with it, a little fish out of water. You're like, I don't really want to go in that deep territory there. Can't we lighten this up a little bit? I keep hearing, I am sitting at the counter and the man is pouring the coffee. The hell, where does that go? Pour the coffee in the cathedral. I am thinking of your voice. Huh. You feel something here. You're going to have this conversation. Yeah, you're going to have this conversation, and you're going to have to give it the space and the respect and honor it for what it is. Okay, because otherwise this is going to turn into something that haunts you a bit, something that lingers and looms in the back of your mind and is like always there, always present, you know, this thing that got away. I think you're learning this person, and this could be someone, again, this could be someone who's already in your life. For many of you, this could be someone, you know, newer. But I think you're learning this person, and you don't want to dismiss it just because it isn't how you feel or would dramatize things or would react to things or would showcase things, right? You may be more reserved. That doesn't make it less real, meaning the connection. Okay. And certainly everything that they're feeling. But it is a bit dramatic. I do think that you could also find, for those of you who are in, so I want to say a lot of eyes on you. What the hell is going on, Aquarius? You seem to be, I don't want to say you're being stalked, but you're definitely being watched, you know, and this is just a bunch of people who really want to like romantically be with you, and they may feel like there's a lot of competition for you, and there is. It's like, good luck. I mean, get in line. Okay. So have fun. But just know there could be this feeling the entire month of like, I don't know, people pulling, you know, just kind of pulling at your energy. Have a good time. But there is this one deep thing that does need to be addressed. There's value there. Something is happening there. I think that it's something you manifested. Now, for those of you that are in a long-term committed relationship, you could be watching your partner travel or go off into a new business or go off into like an exploration in their life, you know, like a pregnancy, parenthood, getting a degree, you know, again, travel, if I didn't already say that, you know, working at a distance. And for some of you, you could feel as though you're just entering into a new phase of the relationship where it's going to be like you two in two totally different places. Could this be leaving a relationship? It could. Maybe some of you are trying a separation on for size. You know, let me see if I feel better without you here. And if I do, you may not be coming back. Okay. And that's fine. Sometimes that has to be explored. In the area of money, career, and investments for Aquarius, money, career, and investments looks good. Between the second and the third week, looks like we have an increase, a pay increase. This could be a pay increase. This could also be a bigger contract, a better deal. For those of you who are getting rid of debt and things like that, moving things around. Okay, lower interest rates. For those of you who are dealing, and I can't prescribe a diagnosis, and I didn't want to put this here, but if you're dealing with a health concern or you have someone else in your inner circle who is, this could be paying it off. This could be getting a break on the insurance. This could be getting the answers that we need. Yeah, okay, but it feels safe. It feels safe with the money aspect of it. For those of you who've been debating on making a big investment, whether this be like real estate, I see plazas. So this could be like commercial property or maybe becoming a brick and mortar, you know, like, yes, I have online, but I also want, okay, to have a place. This in the last week of the month primarily could end up almost dipping into September. You could have a big investment opportunity that I think would go really well for you. And is there a hidden obstacle? Is there a hidden obstacle for Aquarius? Aquarius, hidden obstacle, August 2026, hidden obstacle. Eat your oatmeal, mind your business, watch your cartoons. I see what's footy PJs on, you know, footy PJs. Who remembers in the 80s, we had those weird footy PJs with the plastic on the bottom? We just like went to bed with them and everything. I mean, it was like, what the hell was on the bottom there? I don't know. They were hot as hell and they were itchy. And anyways, I see you in a onesie. I see you in a onesie and like eating your oatmeal, you know, having a snack, eating your cereal, watching cartoons. This is about spending the month periodically. You're going to have to schedule it in because you got a lot going on. Feeding your inner child, okay? Mindless downtime, pampering yourself, giving yourself little treats every day. If you're going to stay balanced in all of this, you need to sometimes turn off the world, turn off your relationships, turn off other people, turn off the demands for you, and just even turn off things like money, turn off adulthood, okay? And just turn on childhood. Just whatever feels good, whatever feels good. And you may choose a couple days where you're doing like a little staycation, or you're spending an entire weekend, or at least a Saturday and a Sunday night, just being with yourself. Okay, doing nothing but that would be very wise. Okay, thank you, Aquarius. Have a wonderful month of August. And thank you for being here. We're going to move on to Pisces. Pisces, last but certainly not least, my Pisces. Melting. Pisces, all right, we got it. Pisces, for August 2026, what is coming up for you in the area of love and relationships? Love and relationships for Pisces, you seem to be closing the door again. I heard, you ever shut a door and it's like the hinge is broken, or I got one of these wobbly doorknobs right now where like the nail keeps coming out, the screw keeps coming out. It's just off base just enough. This thing isn't shutting, it's like, there's something blocking, the ability for this to completely close. And it feels like you're going through an experience yet again between the 3rd and the 4th week of the month where you're realizing a door you sort of shut or thought you shut or thought, just was closed is not. And so we're revisiting this. This seems to be with a long-term partner or a longer-term partner. There's a lot of butting of heads going on here, though, because this person isn't willing to work with you. This person wants to do what this person wants to do. This person isn't hearing you. Unless you become two completely different people who've never met, you're not hearing each other. You're not hearing each other because you stopped hearing each other so long ago. And I feel like I'm talking years, people, okay? Years. So you stopped hearing each other so long ago. You're working with, like, at this point, codependency. You're working with ego, which is fear, manipulation, and control. You're working with old manipulation tactics. You're working with residual energy from bad habits you haven't fixed. I mean, you're not working with any of the good stuff. You're working with trash. And it looks like a raggedy ass door in a raggedy ass apartment in New York City with like 8 locks on it, all of them kind of broken. The door just this isn't non-functioning. This isn't functioning anymore. So what does this mean? Ultimately, this is about you making a decision. And you're the 3rd sign. So you could be dealing with, what are the other signs where I got something similar? I don't know. You'll have to go back and listen, I guess. But anyways, I got something very similar for 2 other zodiac signs. Okay. It's like, at what point do you just admit that change needs to occur and you step out of what has been habit or codependency or, a fear of the unknown, of the future, and you step into the creation, of a new world, not even for like other relationships or, letting this relationship go to rest for you, just for you. Okay. At what point do you start living for you? So, this is giving icky vibes. This is giving, it's just the ick factor for me. Okay. It's very codependent. Yuck. Nope. It needs to end. I think that it's also a little bit creepy when I look on the other side of this door, like, okay, what's on the other side of this door? It just looks like a black abyss. So it can pull you in to nothing but dark energy. And that is a scary thing because it's not always easy to back that bus up. So be careful if you're going to toy with that again, but it is coming up as a temptation between the 3rd and the 4th week. For those of you that are open to new love, it looks like you have somebody coming in between the 1st and the 2nd week, anywhere from Thursday to like that Monday, Tuesday dip right in there, who is saying something very sweet and sincere to you, is giving you your flowers, okay, is saying something about your appearance or your personality, or that they see you and you feel very seen, you feel very heard. You could also, because this is a general message, of course, be giving this to someone else, and it's sort of like a confession of, you know, appreciation or attraction to them. And you know, that could turn into something, like that could bloom into something. So speak your truth there, and do receive and be open to other, you know, I want to say other people's perception of you. This doesn't have to just come through love. This could be coming through multiple avenues. Maybe you're just getting a lot of compliments that week as well. And then the rest of the month looks relatively quiet. So it's like, then there's a lot of processing of this, you know, new phase, this new level of appreciation for the rest of the month. In the area of money, career, and investments for Pisces, money, career, and investments, this looks really good. There could be what you thought was going to be a bump in the road between the 1st and the 2nd week, but it actually turns out to work in your favor. This actually turns out to be a great deal. So for those of you that are transferring money, you're moving loans around, you were hoping to get a loan, you were hoping to sell your business, you're selling a property, et cetera, you're dealing with new contracts, renegotiations on contracts, renewals, you know, it's like this worked out really well. I don't know why you thought it was going to be a problem, maybe just because of that bump in the road or that hindrance or delay. You know, you started to worry, but all in all, look at the way this works out. Okay, looking beautiful for you. I also feel like between the 3rd and the 4th week, you guys could be looking at the check is in the mail, an increase in abundance. I do feel like a lot of this is just like cash value, like this is just straight up money. But for some of you, it could be an opportunity to make more money. So it's sort of like I take this and I like invest it, you know, I use it as leverage and parlaying this thing into this thing. So I feel good about any business expansion, business ideas that you have. This, for some of you, could be like, I'm going to invest and go back to school, you know, or create a new title, a brand for myself. Absolutely. I do want to say watch with the home repairs between the 3rd and the 4th week. I got water in the walls. I don't love that. I water in my walls. I would like probably shit my pants, because what does that mean for the wallpaper? What does that mean for the paint? What does that mean for, you know what I mean? If you're dealing with anything in regards to plumbing, if you're dealing with anything in regards to the structure, yeah, okay, just pay close attention to things. But that's not for everybody. Okay, in the area of a hidden obstacle, is there a hidden obstacle for Pisces? Pisces, hidden obstacle in August 2026, hidden obstacle for Pisces. I heard stop talking, get out of your own way. So, you know, you really need to stop with the storylines in your head. You're telling yourself a lot of fictitious stories. You're not being very mindful of your thoughts. Again, I said I got this for someone else. Metacognition is the word for you in regards to getting out of your own way, creating the life that you actually want to have, being able to move forward in any capacity, staying in fluidity. It's going to be about metacognition. You have to watch the thoughts that you're having. You have to watch also the way you talk to yourself and the storylines that you're telling, because it seems like you're telling a lot of false stories. Okay, this month, and they're old and they're dusty and they're not working anymore. So the only real big obstacle that I see for you this month is going to be you. Okay, not directing your thoughts, owning your energy, and moving forward. Thank you, Pisces. Have a wonderful month of August, and thank you for being here. Total, that's all of them. We're done. All right, let's get into the questions. Ouch. My butt is asleep, as is my lower back. Okay. You guys, if you haven't already done so, get your questions in now. So we're going to move into the Q&A portion of this. Also, a reminder, you guys need to post and ghost. It's okay. This will get published on YouTube at Ask Ivy the Medium in about 24 hours with timestamps. And tomorrow is my pet psychic show. So I'll be back here doing your pet readings for your living or deceased pets. It is going to be unlimited. So if you haven't already gotten your questions in for that, do so. And the following day is my Dear Ivy show, Playoff Dear Abby, the famous columnist. So I give you guys free advice. So get your early questions in now. That's also going to be unlimited. It is not a free psychic mediumship show. My advice, though, is based on spiritual, energetic, and universal practices. All right. Who do we have first? Maraid is first. Maraid says, hi, Ivy. What does the upcoming month of August look like for me? Okay. August, I see money. I see money in the second week, the third week, money. Money in the second week, money in the third week looking more like investments. So you're figuring some stuff out, okay, about what you want to do with your resources. You could also be locking something down the third week, like signing a contract, getting enrolled in school, advancing your certifications, your education, your training, yourself as a brand. The fourth week looks like love. So I know you got that bee buzzing around your honey lately. Let me see if no, this is him. Wow. Something's happening in the fourth week with love. And I don't know what the hell you guys do. It looks like close the curtains and turn off the lights and shut the doors and lock the windows and like, let's just like explore this relationship or explore each other or tune out from everyone else. That could be a tremendously healing thing for you guys to do. It could also be very intellectually stimulating. It could be fun. Okay, just fun. You ever just meet someone, you're like, let's just lock away from the world. Let's just like go off with each other and just unplug. That's what it looks like. And I think that, why am I choking? Like I'm choking really bad. Is this him? Is this you? This is him. What is this? Sometimes when we spend a lot of time with someone, we learn, how they are with tough things, whether it's being confronted with something or being vulnerable, or they express love and affection, and then maybe they trigger their own insecurity or abandonment wounds, or, the more time we spend with people, the more we learn about who they are and what their capacity is. And so capacity may come up as a theme. Is someone able to sit with it and to work through it, and just to be there. So that may be a getting up over the hump point, mostly from their throat chakra. Very interesting. Yeah, it looks good. I mean, it looks like a busy month. You may have some time warps in there where you're like, I don't know where I am, like I had this today, like I was off by hours. I was like, what the hell? How do you get off by hours? Just time warps. You may feel that a couple times over the course of the month. And I think it's just the universe's way sometimes of slowing you down so that you're getting the bigger picture and you're really experiencing things in the way that you're meant to. Okay, so go with it. Thank you, Maraid. We're going to move on. Who do we have next? Do we have any more? Melissa asks, what does August look like for me? You guys are killing me. Don't make me do any more horoscopes. No more. August. All right. What is going on with Melissa for the month of August? Oh, let's see. Second into the third week, there seems to be a contract that wants to be signed. This could be literal. This could also be verbal. This could just be a meeting of the minds. Like, how are we going to do this? But it does feel like it changes the trajectory of things for you. It feels like it allows you to enhance anything that you've been wanting to, enhance. And then also there's a lot of talk of like personal growth, spiritual growth, self-development. If you've been feeling like there are some things in your life that are on the back burner, including your own wants and needs, this is going to release those things. You also have circumstances being released the first week and the third week. That third week one is a little negotiable. So that has wiggle room on it. We could go up, we could go later, but we're in the ballpark, okay, of that time frame. So we have two circumstances that have been holding you back getting released. That's good. Okay. So more movement and fluidity. You may also be tired, especially that first week going into the second week, feeling like, oh, good, things are starting to work. I've been waiting on this. I'm very tired. Okay. Almost like I'm done running a marathon. Someone is confronting you between the third and the fourth week, a male who is immature, who wants to pontificate, who thinks they run something. It's giving little boy lives in mom's basement energy, but thinks he's a big dog. You seem to be like a fly, like I'm flicking this thing. I'm shutting it down. I'm shutting it down. I'm not tolerating this. Now, do I think this is an actual conversation? I do. I also think it could be symbolic. So take it how it resonates. As a general theme of people coming at you thinking they're bigger than what they are, right? And you're like shutting them down, essentially, putting your foot down, setting boundaries, and letting people know essentially too, like, you want to play? Let's play. It's almost like, don't bite the hand that feeds you. Okay, so it suggests that you not only have upper hand here, it suggests that you're actually giving, okay, something that this situation or these people need. So it's like, without me, what are you? That type of a mentality. I also see you burying something at the end of the month. So you may be putting something to rest, throw some flowers on that grave and leave it behind you. Maybe a little bit of cleansing and releasing to get ready for some alchemy next. Some healing and letting go and releasing. I like that for you. This looks like a transformative month, a transitional month. Okay. Thank you, Melissa. Who else do we have? Coming up next is Jayla Beans. Jayla Beans. General reading. Okay, Jayla. General. What message is coming through for Jayla? Put your money away. I also heard put your money where your mouth is. In particular, the third week out from now, you're going to need to put your money where your mouth is. And that could mean that if you've been debating on investing, if you've been debating on taking your career to the next level, some type of training, getting out there more on social media, whatever it is, it's like, okay, I need to actually do this. This could be, if I didn't already say it, education or getting locked into like maybe enrollment. Okay, something like that, but put your money where your mouth is. I also feel like about 3 weeks out from now, you could find yourself shutting the door on a person, a situation that has been coming in to take from you. It's almost like this person comes in to eat up all your snacks. This person comes in to drain your energy. This person comes in to live off of your light. This person comes in trying to make themselves look like they're important or they contribute something, but they're really just a mess and they're really just in the way. And even if you had it in your head in the past that like you needed them for something or you couldn't do life on your own, or, well, I should hold space for this because that's what, you know, relationships are, whether this be, I mean, this feels more romantic to me, but this could also be something you're dealing with in like family dynamics. A lot of people allow and hold far too much space for people they've known a long time, or it's a family member or whatever. I think you're just recognizing that if you're going to move forward with your life, you have to be serious in what you're telling the universe about what you're in alignment with. If you're saying to the universe, I want to attract more, I'm claiming more, you know, I'm a queen, you need to act like a queen, and you don't let jesters in through the front door freaking juggle, drop crap all over your house and make a mess. You know what I'm saying? So definitely a closing of a door around that time. It's a suggestion. It's not a fact. It's up to your free will. But you'll get tested in that area. Thank you, J-Lo. We are going to move on to another one. Who do we have next? Melissa said, thank you, Ivy. You're welcome, Melissa. Thank you for being here. Next up is Edgar Velardes. Edgar says, what messages does my deceased cousin Patty have for me? Patty, do you have any messages for Edgar? A red rose, which is a birthday or anniversary right around this time. This can also be a passing anniversary or just a deep love. She's also giving you a peace of, which can mean that you've had a couple areas in your life, especially recently, come up to the surface again for reexamination where you don't feel closure. There's a lack of peace. This could be in family dynamics. The other one could be with like maybe a poverty mentality, you know, or maybe imposter syndrome, or maybe a feeling like the other shoe's going to drop in career, or what if this doesn't work, or my finances are beating me up, or, I mean, I don't think it's one thing. She's just rambling off a bunch of things that I guess we could put in the category of lack mentality. Okay, so some family dynamics that feel unhealed, disappointing mostly. And then lack mentality that causes like anxiety, like I'm grinding my teeth, you know what I mean? Like I'm having, you know, my cortisol is spiking. It's like I'm dysregulated. I'm worried. I'm like a chihuahua, you know, I'm like a squirrel. Like, what is this? You know, the past, the future, the past, the future, the past. She's just trying to get you to stay in the now. Just stay in the now. Okay. Now that she brought it up, she says, she's funny. She's like, now that I brought it up. Now that she pointed all these things out to you, you were probably peaceful and calm a second ago. Was there a point to this? No. You know, she's just pointing things out. You know, she just really wants you to be in control of your life and not be susceptible to lower energies, darker energies, greedy energies, energies that don't matter, energies that are here to show you things, test you, help you evolve. Not everything that pushes you or makes you feel bad is bad for you. A lot of it is just the stage, you know, through which you get to perform. And she just wants you to remember that you're in control. You're more in control than you think you are. And you're learning more about your control these days. And she's helping you through that. And with this peace stuff coming in these areas, it feels like, it's not to say these things are done, you know, but she's helping you through the recognition of what brings you peace, keeps you centered, and keeps you in your power. Okay, so we could be unhappy, she said, with our circumstances or these relationships. There can be a looming threat, okay, of financial problems in the future. There always will be, all right? But when you're in your center, you're at peace. So she's working with you through that. She's very proud of you also. Talk about how handsome you are. Something about your hair and your ears. I don't know if you just got your hair cut, but it's like once your hair starts to go over your ear, it's like too long. It's too long. It's like it's barely even there. It's too long. All right. Thank you, Edgar and Patty. We're going to move on to another one. Who do we have next? Next up is Mairead. This is question number 2 for Mairead. What does my relationship with Nate look like during the month of August? Okay. So I feel like I jumped ahead and I already kind of answered that a lot. As far as that, was it the 4th week? I don't remember everything I said, but you can go back and listen to your first message because I know he came up in your monthly reading that you wanted. You see what else comes up in this. What else is going on with Nate in August? I don't know if you guys are talking more about food or you're eating more together. You're like eating together over the phone. It's like, what are you eating? What are you eating? Or if he's sending you food, or I have Chinese rolls. What are you eating? I don't know what you guys are doing with this exactly, but there's a lot of food. There's a lot of talk of food. That to me is also symbolic of comfort, okay? I don't eat with people I don't like. I don't eat with people who stress me out because my stomach can't handle it. Eating is a very private thing for a lot of people. Eating is something that only is enjoyable and even possible if you're regulated, okay? And if either of you have had food trauma in any way, this is also a sign of coming together and getting closer, okay? You may also be figuring out how he chews. I don't know if that's been important to you. Like, God forbid, you go on a date with someone or you really like someone and then you watch them eat something and they chew with their mouth open or some shit and you're like, that's over. Who? You won't remember their name next week, okay? But like, I don't know, you get over this. There's also talk here of more discussion on getting together in the second, I want to say in the second week. So this could be planning details, okay, on how you guys are going to get together, how you're going to do it, when you're going to do it, what you're going to do while you do it. This could be like excursions or things you want to do together. That's fun when you get together. Yeah. And the first week feels very schmexual, and I will leave it at that. So, very. All right. Thank you, Maraid. Have a good time. We are going to move on. Who do we have next? How many more do we have? Thanks so much for being here, you guys. You've been amazing. Thank you for supporting the show. I am going to be running a poll. I was going to do it this week. I hope I could still manage to get to it. Some things have changed, but I'm going to be running a poll on a bunch of new show ideas I would like to bring in. And so please do vote on that. Diana, did I lose you? So please do vote on that and let me know if there are any shows you want to see me bring in. Do we have another one coming up, Diana? How many more do we have? Let's move this along quickly. It's been a long day for me because this show was supposed to be last night. Okay, so how many more do we have? Please let me know. All right, Edgar Velardes, what message does my deceased Aunt Hilda have for me? Hilda, do you have any messages? Okay, thank you. Hilda, do you have any messages for Edgar? Just be careful with your money. Like, put your money away. And I know that you may be saying, I've dotted the I's, I've crossed the T's, I've looked at everything, but she said this isn't about the money. This isn't about the money. This is about having a sense of security. So if you do not have 6 months saved up where you could take a tumble down the stairs and end up in a foot cast or like, end up in a fender bender and not have your car and have to do X, Y, and Z. If you could, end up, a hurricane came and took your apartment away, you know what I mean? And whatever. I mean, shit happens. If you don't have 6 months, she says, of savings, okay, and a backup plan. So this could also be other resources. This could be alternative lines of work. This could be other places to, I don't want to say live per se, but like other places where you could go to eat, go to sleep, go to find shelter, other people, other places, other things. Like, where are your resources? So she's kind of calling you out on this. Maybe you've been sloppy in this area. Maybe up until now, you've just been surviving. And when you're in survival mode, right? When you're in survival mode, you're living hand to mouth, or you're just trying to make it through to the, to the next day. There isn't room for things like savings, but there is now. And it's something you need to create, or you could stay in that cycle of not having enough. It's not just about the money. It's about what would happen if there were a life event, 6 months of support I would need. I can give some of that to myself, yes, financially. And then what about the other things? You know, who do I have to count on? Again, what would be your backup plan to things? It's like none of this is predictive. None of this is real. None of this is her saying there's a big threat coming in. You know, you need to figure it out. It's not even that. It's that your brain works in such a way where you fear that things could get thrown off balance and you could end up in a compromising situation, and you never want to feel lack or susceptible to power or like you're kind of begging in life, okay, in any way. You never want to get there. And then you have to create that level of foundation and stability for yourself. Okay. And that's what she wants you to focus on for the next, I would say probably 6 to 9 months. She's going to be cracking a whip in that area, getting you to take it more seriously. But it looks like you're on the road to better things, really good things. She's proud of you, very proud of you. Give yourself flowers too. Give yourself flowers. So it's like, you know, I think some days you are giving yourself props, but maybe not to the full extent that you need to, which is kind of counteractive of what she just said. Maybe spending on yourself. Okay. This could be higher quality food or something. Maybe sometimes you talk yourself down a little bit and it's like, don't do that. Okay. Give it where it counts. A lot of people think that's counterintuitive. Like, oh, well, how am I going to create a savings if I'm, you know, getting the best things for myself? You create more for yourself in universal law of attraction when you treat yourself like a king, like a queen. You do, right? You create more for yourself. Let's move on to another one. Thank you, Edgar. Thank you, Hilda. Who do we have next? Next up is Missy Cavillo. Just a general reading for Missy. Missy Cavillo. General message. What message is coming through for Missy? You seem to be cutting someone off in a relationship who has only come to take. They read like a child. I'm not saying this is your child per se. I'm saying they have childlike, draining energy. You know, they just don't see themselves as ever needing to give back or bring anything to the table because they feel entitled. They feel privileged to continuously take from you. Big part of the reason this exists in this dynamic is because you told them that was true. You've given and given and given and given and given and given some more without requiring them to pay. And even when they do pay, they throw a couple coins on the table, they could never pay the bill. Okay, they could never. I'm seeing the episode of Schitt's Creek when he said to, who's watched that show? Freaking hilarious. I'm addicted. It's so old now and I'm still like watching it. When the father is in the restaurant and he says to, I think her name is Shayla or something, he says to the waitress, just put this on my tab. She said, yeah, Mr. Rose, you know, there's a limit to how much we can put on your tab without you actually making any attempt to pay for it. And so she gives him this big stack of what is like all these receipts from the meals. It has a clip around it. He can barely fit it in his pocket. And he's like, well, I'll pay for it. You know, he's like, tomorrow, or she was like, later today. You know, he was like, or tomorrow. And she's like, morning. So what is this? You know, essentially you're saying to someone, or you're recognizing fully, they can't pay up. And I'm not even going to give them an opportunity to do so anymore. So there is this sense of you doing an examination on all areas of your life where you're pouring in more than what you get out. And even in the past, if you were like, that's okay, it'll work out, that's just how it's done, that's how I've always done it, not anymore. Not anymore, because there will be consequences to you feeding an imbalance, especially in regards to anything you're trying to manifest, grow, and maintain. That will shrink if you're doing this. Okay, so detoxing to grow. Thank you, Missy. Ouch. All right, we are going to move on to another one. Who else do we have? Edgar says, could I please hear about what the job promotion will look like that my job Starlight will offer me soon, like a coordinator position? Okay, so Edgar wants to know if he's getting a coordinator position, or what it will look like. Well, let's just start with what will it look like. Looks like you're starting with something smaller to be able to move up to something more expansive that gives you greater responsibility but less hands-on work in the traditional way that you've known it. So it's almost like I'm more detached, you know, I'm overseeing a lot. So this would be the first position. It feels like they're offering you. And I think it could be the coordinator position. There's talk here of you being able to go in at your own time. I don't know how literal that is. I doubt that means literally any time. I doubt it means like 11:30 at night, but it does feel like you're able to go in at your own time. And so this could create for like slower mornings, later mornings, you know, maybe if you had to be there, you know, at like, I don't know, 8 o'clock in the morning, or like walking in at 9. Now it's like 9:30, 10. You know, this could just be a little bit slower. It could also symbolize that you're able to set up your schedule quite literally in a lot of ways, or you manipulate schedules. That's a big deal. I also feel like you would be supervising and looking at cases quite literally and in depth. So it's almost like you're reading paperwork. You're like, oh, I see what's going on with this. Okay, what happened with this? And you could be asking people too to fill in the blanks on paperwork or files. So it's like you are sort of heavily invested in cases, but sort of analyzing how they're working, whether they're working, what else needs to be brought in, you know, what needs to be added, what needs to be taken away. So it feels very hands-on. It also seems like you could be taking other people's input, hosting meetings. I don't know if you're the one like responsible for like bringing in donuts and coffee, or, you know, maybe not. Maybe there is a budget for that. Nobody uses it or something. I don't know what's going on with that, but that's oddly specific. But, you know, it almost seems like, you know, you're hosting what feels like meetings where things get assigned and things get sorted out, sorted through, figured out, problems resolved, and you're bringing in new ideas, right? And also like, where's the feedback? And like, I don't know, something about group or activities. Okay, so this could also be for clients or patients. It doesn't have to be with just the group, but it's like, what could we create here? What could we implement? Interesting. So that's what it looks like. Thank you, Edgar. Good luck with all that. We're going to move on to another one. Who do we have next? We are at time. You guys, I will see you back here tomorrow for pet readings, my pet psychic show. Get your early questions in now, unlimited, on your living or deceased pet. And then get your early questions in for my Thursday show, Dear Ivy, where I give you free advice on any topic. Thank you so much, Diana. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Have a great night. Have a great month of August.